Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Montana. Now, first thing you might notice is we have a special guest on our team this match. It is 7 Hipper in the Mino. So, as that was a fortunate surprise, I was like, oh, that's interesting. We're not divvied up or nothing, as you can see. Just happened to get into a game together. But he spawns as far away from me as possible, which is really unfortunate, because I would have loved to have had some support on this side of the map. But, that being said, this match is going to be all about negating somebody's strengths. Okay, what is the biggest thing in this lobby? Other than the carrier. We have Yamis, right? We have multiple Yamatos. We have 3 of them, to be in a matter of fact, on the enemy team. We also have a Mino on the enemy team. We also have a Bismarck on the enemy team. All of these, with the exception of one of the Yamatos, will be on our side. Now we have a Shima right out in front of us. We have a Yami to back us up. So we should be pretty solid because I feel real good in my Montana. Like my Montana, I love this ship. You guys know this. When it comes to needing consistency, it don't get no better than Montana. That's why I love this ship so much. It isn't that the guns are particularly amazing because they don't overmatch much at this tier. But if you get this ship into position and you force people to play like an idiot and they do it, you will remove them with haste 9 times out of 10 as this Yami opens up and gets caught by our Yami and me to lose half his hit points in the opening section of this match. Now, obviously, we also have the Kagero here. So we're going to keep our eye on him, see if we can't help get rid of him early. Our Shima's in a position, he's rushing forward. We also have a Mino ahead of us, as we can see, and the Bismarck ahead of us that are trying to get in front of us. So we're going to have to try our best. Kagero looks like he's coming out, so we're getting ready to fire our guns at him. Again, you see a destroyer, especially at these ranges, you definitely want to take that shot. But all our shells decide to go exactly where they have to avoid him, which is real unfortunate. But he's not long for this world. He's got a Z on one side, he's got a Shima on the other side. Like, he's not long for this world. But we're going to push in. Now, look at how close the Yami is currently to my position. I don't want to just rush in willy-nilly here because their Yamis are both in a position where they can crossfire me if I go into this next gap. So I'm going to hold up for a moment. We don't want to push around this corner just yet. We want to give it a little bit more time. I want those Yamis to be firmly behind the big mountain in front of us before I push up. Now, one thing you have to consider is if you make this next push, you also are in position to be shot by the guys on the other side of the map. But looking at where my teammates are on that side of the map, I'm hoping that somebody will be able to shoot at them and keep their attention away from me. Now, one thing that we all know and love at this point is that the Spartan effect is real. If people recognize that I'm in the match, they will go out of their way to shoot me. Even if it means throwing the match. We've seen it over and over again. But in this case, we're going to get a little bit of that. But Bismarck backs out in front of me. I aim a little bit high because I don't want to hit the water line. I was missing a lot of shells into the water. We aim a little high and we get 3 overpins. Like, really? It's a freaking Bismarck. It's got turtleback armor. How am I overpinning it at all? Like, really? But either way, we're going to push up. Now, Mino's going to be chunking our Citadel, or not our Citadel, but our superstructure pretty hard here. But he also makes a mistake of getting spotted, and then he disappears, then he gets spotted again, and then we lose a gun. And then I'm like, you know what, screw it. We're just going to aim a little above waterline again for this Bismarck and see if we can't chunk him. And we get 2 overpins. Again, how am I overpinning with 16-inch guns on a freaking broadside Bismarck at 8 kilometers? I don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't know how I overpin that. But it doesn't matter because we're going to push up. Now, the Kagero died, and you can see we are taking hits from the right side of the map, which is real unfortunate, but is what it is. We're going to stick ourselves in a position... Oh, hello. How are you? And we're trying to actually shoot the Yami here, and we get 1 Citadel on his way in. And then we try to shoot the other gun at the Mino. We get a very good look, and 3 overpins on a broadside Mino. Like, that never happens. Usually those are Citadel. You can see I'm starting to get a little frustrated at the fact that our Yami has just thrown his ship in reverse. He's completely reversing. But look at what this enemy Yami is doing. This is what I call baiting. I want you to come around the corner. I've got my rear guns loaded and ready, and you're dead. Like, there's no winning that for you. You're in a Yamato. There is no winning. There's no outcome where that goes in your favor. Not against the freaking Montana, not against any really battleship in this position, but especially the Montana. But then the other Yamato gets what we can only describe as a sudden rush of crap to the brain, and he's like, anything he can do, I can do with twice as much hit points. So he's like, I'll be fine. What? It's just a Montana. It's got 16-inch guns. What could possibly go wrong with going broadside around an island? And he doesn't even have his guns in the right place. What is this man looking at? 70,000 damage. Gone. Get out of here. Go away. We're baiting. All right? You guys get that reference? Leave it down in the comments below. First person to get that movie reference, I will pin you. But, yeah, we've got the Bismarck coming up, too. I know that I'm dead at this point. Like, I'm being harassed by the carrier. I'm being shot by the guys across the map. I've done my job. We're at 179,000 damage. We depth struck both of the Yamis that are on my side of the match. We have done our job. Meanwhile, our Yami in the back's just sitting back there with his thumb up his ass. Sorry about the language, but that is what he's doing. But we aim a little high again. We don't want to hit the water line. We want to get as many shells on him as possible. We hit him for 21,000 damage, leave him with just enough to get torped by our Shima. And torped by our Shima, he does. So we die, doing 201,000 damage with 9 citadels, 2 kills, 2 dev strikes on 2 Yamatos with a high cap. And we were 1 plane short of getting that clear skies to go with it. Now, you're going to see me jump into chat. I actually turn on my my headset, too, and I'm like, Yami, Oz, Pog, dude, my guy. Do you want to use... You're in the largest, most powerful battleship ever built. Would you like to use it at some point in this match? You know, maybe in the next 8 minutes. If you could just get involved, we would really appreciate it. Is all I'm saying. Like, I ain't even pissed. Like, I had a great match. Like, I was ecstatic at this point with the stupidity of those 2 Yamatos to just go, we got this. It's a Montana. What could possibly go wrong? Clearly, they've never watched my videos. Like, just how easy it is to remove a Yami from the fight if they do exactly that. And so, yeah. Needless to say, I say my piece. I'm like, dude, if you could just get involved in the next 8 minutes, we'd be solid over here, is what I'm saying. Our carrier's still fighting the right side of the map. Our Yami on that side of the map still fighting the other Yami. And if he can remove him, we feel pretty good about our chances. Now, we're currently losing on points, but nobody has any caps. So, shooting a couple ships could easily flip this. Now, you'll notice that the enemy carrier was on his way over this direction, which was why he was able to constantly harass us with planes, because, I mean, he's just so close. Like, you can only shoot him down so quickly. But you can see our planes are doing their thing. Our Yami is kiting away, which I don't hate here. He's able to get all of his guns to bear and stay relatively angled, even though, I mean, that enemy Yami just screwed the pooch there. But friendly carrier finishes off the Yami. Now, that's going to allow our Yami to push in. The enemy Kansas has decided he needs to get into a cap, which, again, I applaud. Like, recognizing that you need to get into a cap to potentially win the match is huge. However, you probably should have done it a little bit sooner. Now, he gets a great shot into our Yami and actually punches him pretty good here. And then our Yami gets a full broadside potential here at firing at the enemy Kaga. And he does, like, nothing. Like, he just does nothing. All over pins. Which is real unfortunate, because Yami usually does pretty well at shooting carriers. And this guy is slightly angled away. So you would expect those shells to arm, but they just don't. And look at this freaking Kaga do what Kaga does. Just torps everywhere. It's obnoxious. But fortunately, he doesn't take a flood. He is broadside to a Mino right now, which is never a good idea. That's a lot of DPM that's going to be getting chunked off of you if you're not careful. So he goes, he does the right thing. He starts to bow in towards the Mino. He also has to pay attention to the fact that this guy is still sending planes in his direction. And he recognizes that he has the shot across the map at the Kansas. So this Kansas is in a crossfire with 2 Yamis, and you can't angle against them both. And this is what you call death. And of course it puts us on the 1 shell that hits the water, but you get the picture. Being in a crossfire between 2 Yamatos and anything is bad. Being in a crossfire with 2 Yamatos and a Kansas is really bad. You're not going to have a good time. But He makes the bad move here of going broadside once again to the Yamato, or to the freaking Mino, while he's being dive bombed by the Kaga. I don't understand this play, but it does end up working in his favor because he turns out, and this forces the Kaga's next drop to be awful. As he turns back in to go towards the Mino, he turns back in. You can see the Kaga whips his planes around and has to immediately drop them if he wants them to arm. And you get one of these salvos of torpedoes, which is what you'd love to see. He gets a clear sky because, you know, he actually finally got into the fight. And Mino comes out fully angled against him, and I'm like, okay, well, this is dev strike potential here. Like, you should be able to dev strike him. At this range, of course, he just got hit, so it wouldn't be a dev strike, but at this range, that Mino should be dead. Except this guy can't aim for crap. Completely missed him. And, you can see the other guy's actually landing shots on him. The carrier's landing shots. And so we're getting some damage against the Mino, just not through this guy. But I switch over to the guy that's actually seeming to do damage. He gets another great hit, gets a Citadel on him, but of course, Mino being Mino somehow survives that. Starts healing, because that's what Minos do. And unfortunately, this guy doesn't miss twice, and he manages to finish off the Mino. And that just leaves the carrier. These guys are actually in the base. We're getting some base caps, or we're starting to deny them their points. So this game's over at this point. Like, you've got a pretty good understanding of how this is going to go. Angled Kaga, once again, in a crossfire between two Yamatos. Like, this should be death. But it seems like this Kaga is the little Kaga that could, because it just keeps getting away with it. Very few carriers get away with this. I don't know. Like, anytime I've shot at a carrier with a Yami, like, it's been devastating in one hit, let alone, you know, having multiple chances at it. But, again, you get multiple Yami shooting at you, it's just a matter of time. You're going to go down. We got another full broadside going out, and, of course, we leave him with just enough for the other Yami to steal the kill. So that it makes the other Yami look like he actually did something in this match, because he ends up with 3 kills and a clear skies medal. But they end up bringing this back from what could have been a loss. I don't know if Hipper stayed around to watch this one or not. I don't remember what happened to him at what point in the match. But given that he's in a Mino, he probably got dev struck at some point. It is what it is. You got to play perfectly in the Mino or you go back to port real quick. But 201,000 damage, top of the leaderboard for the short amount of time that we lived. That just goes to show our contribution, and still above both of those other Yamis. So let us know what you think. Did you enjoy this? And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.